John Smith, a 35-year-old man, woke up that morning with a smile on his face. It was his and Emily's wedding anniversary, and he was determined to make the day special. Emily, a dedicated doctor at St. Mary's Hospital in Seattle, had always been the light of John's life. He deeply admired her commitment to her profession, even though it meant long hours and sleepless nights. As he prepared breakfast, John thought about how to surprise Emily. He decided that an unexpected visit to the hospital would be the best way to celebrate the special date. After leaving Sophie, their 2-year-old daughter, with the babysitter, he headed to a local florist. He chose a bouquet of white lilies, Emily's favorite flowers, and a special gift, a necklace with a heart-shaped pendant symbolizing the eternal love he felt for her. With the bouquet and gift in hand, John drove to the hospital, feeling a mix of nervousness and excitement. He imagined Emily's smile upon seeing him and the joy of sharing a special moment together, even amidst the hospital's busy routine. Upon arriving at the hospital, John took a deep breath and entered the building. He walked through the bustling corridors, feeling his heart beat faster with each step. Finally, he reached Emily's office. The door was ajar and he could hear her gentle voice talking to a patient. John knocked lightly on the door and entered. "Surprise," he said with a radiant smile on his face. Emily looked up, surprised and delighted to see him. "John, what are you doing here?" she asked, her eyes sparkling. "I couldn't let our wedding anniversary go by without celebrating it with you," John replied, handing her the bouquet of lilies. "And I brought you a special gift." Emily took the bouquet, touched. "Oh, John, they are beautiful. And what's this?" she asked, seeing the small box in his hands. "Open it and see," John said eagerly. Emily opened the box and found the necklace. "It's beautiful, John." "I love you," she said with tears in her eyes. "I love you too, Emily." "Happy anniversary," John responded, hugging her tenderly. After the surprise, John decided to return to work, so he said goodbye to his wife and headed to the parking lot. However, when he got there, he realized he had forgotten his house keys on Emily's desk. He went back to the hospital, and as he approached his wife's office, the door was ajar and he could hear muffled voices inside. Curious John approached, silently peeking through the gap in the door. His heart stopped. Inside, Emily was in an intimate moment with her boss, Dr. Robert. They were close, laughing and exchanging looks that John recognized as being of complicity and desire. Dr. Robert was caressing Emily's face, and she was smiling back, a smile John thought was reserved only for him. "Robert, you're amazing," Emily said, her voice soft and full of affection. "I don't know what I would do without you." "Emily, you're the best thing that ever happened to me," Dr. Robert replied, leaning in to kiss her. Shock and pain hit John like a punch in the stomach. He felt tears beginning to stream down his face, but he couldn't move. His world seemed to crumble around him as he tried to process the betrayal. Every word, every gesture between Emily and Robert was like a knife stabbing his heart. Finally, John managed to pull away from the door. He turned and left the area unnoticed, his steps quick and unsteady. With tears streaming down his face, he ran to the parking lot, feeling completely devastated. Inside the car, John rested his head on the steering wheel, trying to control his breathing. "How could she do this to me? To Sophie?" he murmured to himself, his voice choked with pain. He knew his life would never be the same again. The love and trust he had in Emily were destroyed, and he felt lost, not knowing how to move forward. Driven by anger and pain, John decided he couldn't let Emily and Dr. Robert's betrayal go unpunished. Determined to get revenge, he began investigating Dr. Robert's life with an intensity he had never felt before. He spent sleepless nights scouring social media, public records, and any information he could find. It was then that he discovered Dr. Robert was married to a woman named Helena. With a racing heart, John found Helena's profile on social media. She seemed to be a strong and independent woman, with a warm smile that contrasted with the coldness he felt at that moment. Determined to reveal the truth, John sent a direct message to Helena, briefly explaining the situation and asking to meet. The next day, Helena replied, "John, I'm in shock at what you've told me. We need to talk in person. Can we meet at the cafe on the corner of 5th Avenue at 6 p.m? John agreed, and at the appointed time arrived at the cafe. He was nervous but determined. When Helena entered, he recognized her immediately. She looked distraught, but there was a determination in her eyes that he instantly admired. "Hello, Helena." "Thank you for coming," said John, extending his hand. "Hello, John. I needed to hear this in person," Helena replied, shaking his hand. "So what exactly happened?" John told everything in detail, from the planned surprise to the devastating moment he saw Emily and Dr. Robert together. Helena listened attentively, her eyes filling with tears, but she maintained her composure. "I can't believe Robert would do this," Helena said, her voice trembling. "But we need to do something. They can't go unpunished." "I agree," John said firmly. "I thought about exposing their betrayal in a way they'll never forget, but I need your help." Helena took a deep breath and nodded. "I'm in. Let's make them feel the pain they caused us." The two spent the night discussing the details of the plan, exchanging ideas and information. The alliance between John and Helena was formed, and together they were determined to expose Robert and Emily's betrayal. After that first meeting between John and Helena, they began to meet secretly at the small cafe away from the city center to continue their plan to expose their partner's betrayal. Each meeting was a mix of tension and determination, with both exchanging information and devising a meticulous plan to expose Robert and Emily. "We need irrefutable proof," said Helena, stirring her coffee, "something that leaves no doubt about what they did." "I agree," replied John, looking at the open laptop in front of him. "I've managed to access some incriminating emails between them, but we need more." Helena nodded, her eyes shining with a mix of anger and resolve. "I can try to install monitoring software on Robert's computer. He trusts me. He won't suspect a thing." "That would be perfect," said John, smiling for the first time in days. "And I can keep following Emily. She's been careless lately." During these meetings, an unexpected friendship began to blossom between them. Helena, a strong and determined woman, found in John a valuable ally. They shared their pains and frustrations, finding comfort in each other's company. "You know, John," said Helena at one of the meetings, "I never imagined going through something like this, but your strength inspires me." John looked at her surprised. "I feel the same way, Helena. Your determination gives me strength to keep going. I don't know what I'd do without you." As time went by, the meetings became more than just planning revenge. They started sharing personal stories, laughing and crying together. Helena told John about her childhood, her ambitions, and how she met Robert. John in turn spoke about his dreams, his struggles, and the love he still felt for Emily, despite everything. "It's strange," said Helena in a moment of reflection. "Finding someone who understands exactly what I'm going through. I feel like we can overcome this together." "I feel that too," replied John, holding her hand. "Let's get justice, Helena, and then who knows, we might find a new beginning." The alliance between John and Helena grew stronger with each meeting, and together they were more determined than ever to expose Robert and Emily's betrayal, finding a bit of hope and comfort amidst the pain. John began to notice subtle but unsettling changes in Emily's behavior. She, who had always been open and communicative, now seemed more reserved. He often saw her receiving messages on her phone, and unlike before, she didn't share the content with him. "Emily, are you okay?" John asked one night while they were having dinner. "You seem distant lately." Emily looked up from her plate, forcing a smile. "I'm fine, just a bit overwhelmed with work." John knew what was happening, but it seemed that Emily wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. He continued collecting evidence of the betrayal to put his and Helena's plan into action. Days later, he saw her again exchanging messages on her phone with a smile he hadn't seen in a long time. "Who is it?" he asked, trying to sound casual but the concern evident in his voice. "Oh, it's just a colleague from work," Emily replied quickly, putting the phone in her pocket. "We are discussing an important case." John frowned. "You've never mentioned this colleague before. What's his name?" Emily hesitated for a moment before answering. "It's Frank. He's new on the team." Her response seemed rehearsed. After that, he noticed that Emily seemed more careful with her phone, always keeping it close and locked. John continued gathering information, needing irrefutable proof to expose his wife and her boss. John and Helena finally decided to put their plan into action. Gathered in a discreet cafe, they discussed some details before hiring a private detective, as they hadn't obtained concrete proof, just some emails about meetings that could easily be explained away with excuses about discussing serious patient cases. "We need solid evidence," said Helena, looking directly into John's eyes. "Something that leaves no room for doubt." John nodded, determined. "I've found a reliable detective. He's discreet and efficient. We'll catch Robert and Emily red-handed." The next day, they contacted the detective and began a new phase of the investigation. Days later, the private detective, Mr. Martin, started following Robert and Emily. He was an experienced man with a keen eye and an impressive ability to go unnoticed. After a few days of surveillance, he managed to capture incriminating photos of Emily and Robert entering a hotel together. John received the photos in a discreet envelope. Opening it, his heart raced. There were Emily and Robert holding hands entering the hotel. Anger and pain mixed inside him, forming a storm of emotions. "This is enough," said John, showing the photos to Helena. "I'll confront them personally." Helena placed a hand on John's shoulder, offering support. "Be careful, John. Don't let anger control you. I know you knew, but seeing it with your own eyes again can trigger more anger." With a heavy heart, John decided to follow Emily and then went after her to the hotel the next night. He parked the car at a safe distance and watched as she entered the building. Each step he took towards the hotel felt like an eternity. Upon reaching the reception, John took a deep breath and asked for the key to the room where Emily and Robert were. He climbed the stairs slowly, each step increasing his tension. When he finally reached the door, he heard muffled laughter from the other side. With a sudden movement, John turned the handle and pushed the door open. There were Emily and Robert in an intimate moment. The sight made his blood boil. "Emily!" shouted John, his voice reverberating through the room. "How could you do this to me?" Emily, surprised and frightened, took a step back. "John, I can explain." "Explain what?" interrupted John, his eyes burning with fury. "Explain how you betrayed our marriage, how you lied to me all these months." Emily tried to approach, her hands trembling. "John, please listen to me. Not what it looks like, not what it looks like." John laughed bitterly. "I know exactly what's going on. I know about you and Robert. I know everything." Robert, who had been silent until then, tried to intervene. "John, calm down. Let's talk like adults." "Talk?" John turned to him, eyes blazing. "You want to talk after betraying your own wife and destroying my marriage? You don't deserve a second of my attention." Emily, with tears in her eyes, tried again. "John, I'm so sorry. I made a mistake, but we can work this out. Please give me a chance." John shook his head, the pain evident on his face. "There are no more chances, Emily. I saw you together on our wedding anniversary. I had forgotten the house keys on your desk and came back to get them. When I got there, I saw you too, and after that, I wanted proof to expose you, so I hired a detective to follow you." Emily stood there, stunned, confusion spreading across her face. "What are you saying?" At that moment, Helena, who had also followed her husband, stepped out of the shadows. "He's saying that we planned all this to expose you both." Emily looked at Helena, incredulous. "Helena, you knew about this?" Helena nodded, her voice firm. "Yes, Emily, I knew." John and I decided you both needed to face the consequences of your actions. You betrayed us and now the truth has come to light. I still love you. Can we try again, please? Helena intervened, her voice firm. Emily, love doesn't survive without trust, and you destroyed that. Robert, finally finding his voice, tried to appeal to Helena. Helena, I know I was wrong, but we can find a way to move forward. I still want to save our marriage. Helena shook her head, her eyes full of determination. Robert, you made your choice, and now I'm making mine. Our marriage is over. John took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his decision. Emily, I hope you one day understand the depth of the pain you caused. I trusted you, but now it's over. You and Robert will face the consequences of your choices. Emily fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. John, please forgive me. But John had already made his decision. With one last look of disdain at Robert and Emily, he left the room, leaving them to face the reality of their betrayals. The betrayal had been exposed. Robert felt the weight of the consequences of his actions crashing down on him like an avalanche. Helena, with a resolute expression, faced him in court as the judge finalized their divorce proceedings. Robert, Helena said, her voice firm but full of pain, I never imagined our marriage would end like this. But you destroyed the trust we had. There is no going back. Robert tried to argue, his voice choked with emotion. Helena, please, I know I made a mistake. But we can try again. We can rebuild what we had. Helena shook her head, her eyes filled with determination. No, Robert. I deserve better. I deserve someone who respects me and is faithful. Our marriage is over. With the divorce finalized, Robert faced another battle, his career. News of his affair with Emily spread through the hospital like wildfire. His once impeccable reputation was now tarnished. The hospital director, Dr. Mason, called him in for a meeting. Robert, your conduct is unacceptable. This hospital values ethics and professionalism. You leave us no choice. You're fired. Robert left the hospital feeling like a broken man. His career, his marriage, everything was in ruins. Meanwhile, Helena began to rebuild her life. Each day was a struggle, but she was determined to move forward. John also filed for divorce from his marriage with Emily and sought custody of their daughter, Sophie. The judge granted the divorce and, with the evidence of Emily's infidelity, deemed her unfit for custody, leaving Sophie with John. Emily faced the same fate as Robert, being fired due to the scandal of her affair with her boss. John knew it would be hard to move on because he still loved Emily, but he could never forget that betrayal. He tried to be as strong as possible for his daughter, knowing she shouldn't have to suffer for her mother's mistakes. As the days passed, the pain of the betrayal began to lessen in John's and Helena's hearts. John and Helena, now bonded by a friendship forged in the fire of betrayal, found comfort and strength in each other. Sitting in a cozy cafe, they discussed their plans for the future. John, Helena said, stirring her cup of tea absently. I never imagined going through something like this, but in a way it has made us stronger, don't you think? John nodded, his eyes reflecting a newfound determination. Yes, Helena, I learned a lot from all this, mostly about myself and what truly matters in life. Helena smiled, a smile that carried both sadness and hope. And what do you plan to do now? Any idea how to move forward? John took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his decision. I want to focus on my daughter. She deserves a present and dedicated father, and who knows, maybe I'll start a new project at work, something I've always wanted to do. Helena nodded, admiring John's determination. That's great, John. Sophie is lucky to have you as her father, and as for me, I'm thinking of going back to school. I've always wanted to get a master's degree, and I think now is the right time. John smiled, feeling a wave of pride for Helena. You'll do great, Helena, I'm sure of it, and remember, whenever you need a friend, I'll be here. Helena held John's hand for a moment, a gesture of mutual gratitude and support. Thank you, John, and the same goes for you. We are stronger together. Over time, both began to find new directions in their lives. John dedicated himself to Sophie and his new project, feeling more fulfilled and at peace. Helena, in turn, immersed herself in her studies, rediscovering a passion she had set aside. One sunny afternoon, as they walked through the park with Sophie, John looked at Helena and smiled. "You know, Helena, I think we are finally ready for a new beginning, stronger and wiser." Helena smiled back, feeling the truth in John's words. "Yes, John, the truth finally came out, and now we can move forward, together, as friends." And so, with mutual support and the determination to start anew, John and Helena found the strength to build a better future, knowing that the lessons of the past had made them stronger and better prepared for whatever challenges life might bring. Want access to more stories like this? Click the link in the pinned comment below and find out how you will surely enjoy the story that is appearing on your screen. A big hug and see you in the next video.